On the phone now with Fox play-by-play guru Kevin Burkhardt, also the teammate for 4 years in the booth with John Lynch, the new GM of the San Francisco 49ers. Kevin, appreciate your time. What can you tell us about Mr. Lynch?
Well, I think he's going to be great for the organization. I mean, I think John's great at everything he touches. I really do. I love him as a person. I love him as a football guy. I love him as a motivator. I think he's got every skill imaginable to help run a football team. You know, I think that when you look at his smarts, his football savvy, his background, you know, obviously, you know, playing his whole life, playing for Bill Walsh at Stanford, coming up as a quarterback, you know, former pitcher in the minor leagues with the Marlins, you know, having all this different experience, playing for legendary people with legendary players, you know, with Shanahan, with Gruden, those guys. He is, being with him the last 4 years, he is the most respected guy I've ever seen. I mean, every single person in the league likes him, respects him for who he is as a man, for his football knowledge, for his acumen. I learn something new every week about football being with him. And I just think his incredible smarts, how he treats people, you're going to see that in the 49ers organization. Look, I can tell you this, with our broadcast crew, he motivates us to be great. Like, I strive to do well, you know, for him and for the group, because that's the atmosphere he created. He made us a great team, you know, our whole group, people on the air, behind the scenes, and you wanted to play for him. That's the kind of leader that he is. I don't think many people can do that. And I fully expect that to translate into the football side of things to, you know, kind of give a jolt in a good way to the 49ers. So I think he's going to be great. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss standing next to him every Sunday, you know. So hopefully I get to do a couple 49er games and come up and see him up there with you guys.
Does his football pedigree and the players he's played with and the coaches he's gotten to work with, does that make him a natural fit to lead a personnel department, even though he doesn't have that front office experience?
You know, there's always like cases of, oh, he doesn't have that experience, and you know, whatever job it is, right? I mean, the guy has been around the game his whole life. He's a Hall of Fame player. He has seen front office dynamic plenty, being around the Broncos with John Elway. He's talked to many a front office person, has great relationships with GMs and front office personnel across the league. He's super well connected. This is not like a guy that just came off the field like, hey, we're going to make you the GM. And he's been studying this. He's been studying how to do this since he got done playing, to be honest with you. And I think he's ready for this. I think he's more than ready for it. You know, the only question was, would the opportunity come about that would make sense? Because obviously he had a job that he loved and was really great at. And so would the right opportunity come where he would leave that TV job and you know, take that responsibility? Well, the opportunity came, you know, with San Francisco and a team that needed a jolt and a team that's in a place that he's familiar with the Bay Area, that has lineage to a coach that he's played for in Bill Walsh, and going to hire a head coach who he respects the hell out of and gets along with extremely well, which I don't think you can put a price on that. You know, having that relationship with the GM and coach already in place, knowing how well they get along and how much they agree on things, priceless to me.
When you say he's been studying to do this, what does that mean? You know, did he give you this? Did he say to you, do you guys have conversations about, you know what, I love this broadcast thing, but I'd really like to take a crack at being an NFL GM?
I just knew it was in his DNA that if the right opportunity came about, he might take it. I mean, it was not like we set parameters and he said, hey, if X, Y, and Z, I'm going to do this. I just know that we talk all the time. We've become really good friends. And, you know, he lets me into his world and into his football thinking, and he's got a broad spectrum. You know, he thinks like a player. He thinks like a coach. He thinks like a GM, like a president of a team. You know, he's got all these people that he picks the brains of constantly. You know, talking to the GMs around the league. Again, I cite Elway. He's very close with John. His study out. He's done it in Denver. Obviously, Peyton Manning in terms of, you know, his progression from player to what he's going to do next. He has all these people that he talks to and gleans knowledge from. And I just think he's going to have a fresh perspective. And look, he's going to have people to lean on for certain things that he's never done before. Who doesn't? You know, when I first got the job at Fox doing football, I'd never done it until 4 years ago. But, you know, I'm doing it now. And it's, you know, I mean, at some point at some point, I think it's okay to give the job to somebody that hasn't done it before. It's not like he's never touched a football before. So I think he's going to be great. I think the experience, look, sure, there'll be some things he'll be doing for the first time as an actual GM, but I'm not worried about it. He's way too smart, way too savvy, and way too connected to fail. I really believe that about John.
What struck you during your week of preparation throughout each season as a talent evaluator? So, yes, you look at the teams and what they do well, but when it comes to specific players and, hey, I kind of like this guy, or let's watch out for this guy on Sunday, what struck you about how he approaches watching tape and getting ready for games?
Well, it's pretty easy. I learn something every week. We always talk on the phone on Wednesdays, and then we see each other Friday morning for the whole weekend and go over a bunch of stuff. But, he'll watch his film, and, we're talking about the game and whatever, and he's always pointing out something that has never been written, never been said, and I didn't know. An example I'll use is a couple years ago, there wasn't a single word that I'd heard about Aaron Donald and of the Rams. And he called me up. He said, "Hey, KB," he's like, "I'm watching film." He's like, "This guy's Warren Sapp." He's like, I was like, "What?" I was like, "Are you serious?" And obviously playing with Warren, that's
yep.
And knowing the respect John has for Warren, that's pretty high. I was like, "Come on, are you serious, John?" And he's like, "I'm telling you." And then I got there and he showed me film. They talked about it. And now obviously Aaron Donald is thought of as the best defensive tackle in the league in those circles, right? So it's things like that. Like we've done a bunch of Falcon games this year. He would point out to me, "Look at this play call and how Kyle Shanahan structured this play, and this is why it works." And just stuff that I didn't pick up on. But then when he shows it and breaks it down, I was like, "Oh, this is great stuff." He's always innovating. Like in the broadcast, he drives so many of our ideas and the things that we're looking at and showing because he sees it differently than others. So those are a couple of examples that I can give you.
He's not going to get to see Aaron Donald twice a year with the 49ers in the NFC West. You alluded to it a little bit, Kevin, and before I let you go, I want to circle back again. We talk about the football mind and his pedigree as a player, as really a guy who's been groomed to be an executive for so long. But as a person, as a man, as a leader, Jed York has spent so much time talking about championship culture and getting the right people in place to build that culture. Is he a guy, like you said, he did it for your broadcast booth, where he's going to come in here and make it the right vibe of what things should be, knowing what a championship team looks like?
I'm telling you right now, you're going to see when he's in your building, he is a leader of men. He is a communicator. He is a tremendous communicator. And I'm talking everybody, top to bottom. I'm talking the highest person in the building to the lowest person in the building. They will all feel wanted. They will all feel motivated. And he will lead. That's what he does. You follow John Lynch. We did that as a broadcast team, and you're saying, well, how does that work as a broadcast team? Well, there's a ton of people that come together and work during the week and on Sunday to put an NFL game on the air. And I'm telling you right now, if you pulled every single one of them who ever worked in any of our games and asked what it's like to work with John and for John, they will tell you, this guy is a winner. He's a motivator. He leads men and women, and that's what he will do. I am positive the culture will change. There's no question in my mind.
Kevin, we're thrilled to have him here. I know you'll miss him in the booth, but we look forward to seeing you next season during some 49ers games, and I really appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
You got it, and I appreciate it. Have a good one.